Ed, David, thanks for joining. Let's go.
What's up, Gar?
What's up? How about those birds?
Yeah, go Birds, man. They
All
got to
right.
play. They got to play the Chiefs and the refs in Super Bowl.
You know what? I think this time the Eagles got it.
I hope so. I mean,
Yeah.
I would love to see a blowout like they did to the Commanders. That was
Well,
really
it
exciting.
definitely, I can tell you it will not be like that.
I know, I know. I just don't want it to come down to one last play and the controversy. You know what I mean? For either
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
But see what happens.
David, how's it going? All right. So I got an action-packed presentation for you guys today. We got 2 hours blocked off from 1 to 3. If we go the full time, that'd be great. But I want to
Going to
be
drive?
able to. Hey, David, now I can
No,
hear you.
you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, I'm driving, so
Oh,
I'm gonna
sweet.
mute. I'm gonna mute here.
Okay, great. All right, I just pulled up the chat. Awesome. All right, so I got a action-packed 2 hours for us. Oh, look, Harlan's coming in here. Good afternoon, Harlan. Thanks for coming on in.
Hey,
We are waiting for everybody to join up. We got like 9 people that are looking to join us today. Glad you guys could block off some time this afternoon. I was just telling everyone else here, David and Ed, that we got 1 o'clock Eastern to 3 o'clock Eastern blocked off. We should be able to go the full time. If you guys have any questions, and we'll try and get it all in here. But what I definitely wanted to make sure that I get in is the basics of the loan broker business for today. As this being day one, I wanted to get the basics of the loan broker business. We'll go back over DSCR as well, just as a review of what we went over in the master class. And then towards the end, I'll make sure that you guys have access to the lenders and get you guys set up with the lenders that I put in the lender guide so that you can get your account executives all assigned to you when you start to work with them. Just kind of housekeeping. Did you guys all get into the school? He's got into the school group?
yes.
All right, sweet.
I didn't. I
So
didn't
then
know. I didn't know about that, Gar. What's the school group? Is it a Facebook group?
No, it's another online community platform. It's similar to like a Facebook group.
Uh-huh.
Um, Inside there is the exclusive lender guide. So I'll make sure that you can get in there, Ed. I'll grab your email address and get you in there at the end here. Oh,
Great.
Nate looks like he's joining here. Hey, Nate, thanks for coming on in. All right. So, like I was saying, I got some good content here for you today. To start off, we're gonna go over the basics of the loan broker business, and then we'll review DSCR. Uh, Here, and Melton is coming in as well. Hey, Melton, thanks for joining on in here. Um,
Good. How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good. Good.
So we got 1 o'clock Eastern to 3 o'clock Eastern blocked off here. And I was just letting the group know what we're going to be going over. There may be some more people that join on in, but in a couple of minutes, I'm going to get started. As a high level, wanted to make sure that you guys get a good grip of what the loan broker business looks like. And then we'll go over and review DSCR again. And kind of what we did on the masterclass, reviewing the terms from that. And then at the end of day one today, I want to make sure that you guys are set up with the lenders from the exclusive lender guide so that you can go through their broker program and get assigned an account executive. And that really is, the next step in getting your business set up. So it's 1:02 here. I want to make sure we protect everybody's time that came on in here early and on time. So let's get started. So if you guys are familiar from the masterclass, my name is Hard Money Gary. I fund real estate deals all across the country, helping real estate investors and business owners get money for their deals. I've been doing this business for the last 3 years on my own, and what I firmly believe that this is a great way to add an additional source of revenue to your existing real estate business, or if you want to take this full time, you have the ability to do so. So I got the presentation pulled up here, and let's get going. I'm going to share my screen. If you guys have any questions, the chat will be open, and this is a meeting format. So if you did want to unmute, you can unmute and ask your questions as well. All right. So welcome to the DSCR Loan Broker Bootcamp. We're going to learn how to earn 4 to 5 figures per closed deal with DSCR loans. My goal for you is by the end of at least day one today is to have a great understanding of the loan broker business, how you will be able to get started. And then at the end, we'll get you set up with your account. Make sure that you are signed up with the lenders on the exclusive lender guide so you can be on your way to getting assigned an account executive. What's going to make this different is that, we're going to be talking about making money in real estate without any licensing requirements except for 4 states, with little to no money out of pocket, and you get paid as soon as the deal closes. This is something where you can make money as soon as the loan funds. Okay, you're not waiting 30, 60 days out from when the loan closes. You're going to get paid right on the HUD. Okay, as a review, my name is Gary Brown. After 4 years in the off-market and wholesaling world, I created Gershon Flip and Rental Loans. And in 2023, we earned $104,000 in commissions brokering DSCR and hard money loans. And in 2024, we earned over $160,000 in commissions brokering these types of loans as well. And we did it all without spending any money on ads. So this is through networking and different no-cost advertising. And my hope for you guys is that, whether you guys are doing real estate deals or you're in real estate already, this is something where you have an existing network of people that need these types of loans, and we're going to be able to help you offer this as another way to make money in real estate. Just kind of a show of hands, how many of you guys are already wholesaling or flipping houses or buying rental properties? I know Ed has been wholesaling and in that world.
I'm interested.
Oh, you're interested? Okay, very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
All right.
I've been in the real estate agent world mostly.
Mostly. Okay, cool. Well, over the time of developing how I operate in this business, I've done a lot of things right and I've done a lot of things wrong. And after doing this for 2 years on my own, I discovered the 2/3 rule, which we went over in the master class, is that the clients have to have two of the three of the three qualifications that a lender is looking for, whether that's cash, credit, and experience. So if they don't have any experience, then they got to have cash and credit. All right, I found out how to systemize a loan application to get the best results for my clients, and I'm going to be able to, and on day 2, we're going to go over that in detail. And then I realized that even if I show you guys how to do this on your own, you'll still want to work with me. And we'll talk more about that on day 2. But too many people shop for DSCR loans the hard way, and you guys are going to get the cheat code. All right. The hard way is searching online, looking for a loan without a deal, and posting in online forums, making you the target for scammers and predators. Now, you guys saw those 2 slides before, But I'm showing this to you guys again is because you are now going to be prepping to compete with this style of searching for the loan so that you can insert your skill set and your value proposition in contrast with this. This is how you are going, you have to be thinking that this is how people are searching for these loans right now. How can you approach people or be better and show them that this is not the right way to do it? Now, the easy way is learn the game from a pro, right? And that's enough fluff. Let's get to the good stuff. All right. So, who are the DSCR loan lenders? And, I got the rock here because I'm a big wrestling fan. So, you guys got to know your role in this business. All right. So, we got commercial lenders. Commercial lenders are lenders that do not lend on residential properties. They are looking for investment properties. They're looking for multifamily commercial buildings. They're looking for light industrial warehouses. They're looking for office buildings, um, you know, typical white box retail locations as well. Then you have your private lenders. And I may refer to these folks as balance sheet lenders, but the private lenders are lenders that have raised funds to lend on real estate projects. They may not, they're not private lenders in the sense of a private individual. Tristan just asked to join, so thanks for joining here. So private lenders are not individuals when we're talking about DSCR lenders. These are funds that have raised money to lend specifically on investment real estate. And when I say balance sheet, that means that they keep their loans on their books. Okay. Then you have super brokers. So the super brokers are lenders that we work with primarily. We're going to be working with the private lenders and the super brokers of the world when we're focusing on uh, single family 1 to 4s. The super brokers are creating and originating the notes, and then they are selling the notes on Wall Street to hedge fund buyers. Okay, that process is called securitization. So the last one is where we come in. That's us as the loan brokers. So as loan brokers, we can work with commercial lenders, we can work with private lenders, and we can work with super brokers. We just have to understand what those different lenders are offering to the marketplace, find them the clients, and collect the paperwork and deliver them exactly what they're asking for, as well as be on the lookout for deals that meet those lenders' criteria. Okay. So as far as us knowing our role, we are working with these different types of lenders as facilitators. So who are we working with? We're going to be working with real estate agents and wholesalers for, especially on the hard money side. We're going to be working with investors we're now going to refer to them as borrowers. And then we're going to be working with insurance agents and title companies. That is who we're going to be calling the third party partners. And on day 2, we're going to talk more about systemizing how to collect data from investors and relay information to insurance agents and title companies. But as far as getting down the lingo, is these are the people that we are working with. Okay, we got real estate agents who are transactional partners, investors are borrowers, and those are our clients. And insurance agents and title companies, those are our third party partners. Okay, so let's do more of a deep dive into being a loan broker. So the loan broker, I think of the loan broker position as the quarterback. I see Peyton Manning here. So we are the main point of contact between our third party partners and the lenders, as well as our transactional partners in the wholesalers and the real estate agents. And we are facilitating all of the information funneling from our borrowers and disseminating it out. Okay. So we're going to collect all the paperwork from the borrower. We're going to relay all the information from the lender, our lending partners, to the borrower. and we're going to facilitate the communication between the title companies and insurance, our third-party partners. Now, it's my firm belief that we are the most important position in the real estate transaction. Okay. The reason is because we are responsible for everyone getting paid. If we don't do our job, then no one gets paid. The deals can stop or die based off of how well we perform. So we have to take this communication and relay role extremely seriously. This is a business. This is not something where you can set it and forget it unless you've set up the systems. But if you're just starting out, if you're on this presentation right now, you're learning about what this loan broker position and what this loan broker business is. You have to treat this like you are going to be the most important person in the room at all times with regards to the different transactions that you're a part of. So, how do you get paid as a loan broker? Well, the lenders need sales and marketing partners. So this is the value proposition. Okay. The lenders, they are okay with working with us and having us send them business because they otherwise would have to spend that money on a sales force or additional marketing. So going back to the quarterback here, we are more than just a quarterback in this situation. We are the show. That's why I believe that we are the most important person in the transaction is because we are finding the deal that's happening. We're getting everyone paid, and we are basically working for free until the deal closes. So that's why we're working for free on behalf of the lenders until the deal closes. Okay. So lenders need sales and marketing partners. And that means that we have to understand our lending partners' guidelines and their rules of engagement better than they do at sometimes so that we can go out into the marketplace, find where those deals are happening, make the contacts, and then grab the data points and bring them back to the lender. So a lender is going to be on two sides of the lending industry. They're going to be either a wholesale lender or a retail lender. Now, we talked about on a couple of slides ago, the super brokers and the private lenders and the commercial lenders. When it comes to the super brokers, they are the ones that kind of brand themselves as wholesale or retail. What that means for you as a loan broker is that if you're working with a wholesale lender, then you are going to be a part of their most likely a TPO or a third party originator program. A couple of the lenders that I put on the exclusive lender guide, RCN and Easy Street Capital, they offer TPO third party originator programs. If you want to take this business a little bit more seriously, then I would suggest working with a lender as the TPO. You have more control over the process, you have more control over the pricing, and you can get paid a little more versus the retail where they are more or less co-brokering or they're working with you. They may engage with the client on your behalf. It may be something where you refer them, you collect a little bit of paperwork, and then they step over and say thank you, and then they kind of finish off the transaction. But you're going to be limited in what you can make on those types of deals, and uh, it will create confusion for your client, and they may end up just going and working with the lender in that scenario rather than working with you on their next deal. There's two ways to get paid uh, through as a loan broker. It's the lender paid versus borrower paid. The lender paid is really only going to be how much you mark up their services versus factoring in your services. So for example, what that means is a yield spread premium. So on an interest rate for today, for example, let's say there's a 7.5% interest rate that's offered. You could tack on some interest rate on a percentage on there, whether it's another eighth of a point or half a point, and the lender will pay you the difference or a little bit of a commission for selling a higher rate because they're going to be able to make more money. But for the bulk of the transactions that we do, it's going to be borrower paid. So that's also why the lenders like working with us, is because they're not paying us unless we add the lender, the YSP. And in fact, they make more money when we do that. But nearly all transactions are going to be borrower paid. And the borrower pays in addition to, and they pay in the form of points, which is a percentage point of the total loan amount. And then they'll pay in processing fees if we choose to add those on top of any lender processing fees. So as a reminder, a point is 1% of the loan amount. So if you have a $300,000 loan and you charge 1 point, that means you're going to get paid $3,000. So what tools do you need for this business? Well, it can be as simple as just an email address and a calendar. You can make it as simple and basic as you want. Because really, the function here is signing up with the lenders, getting an account executive, understanding their guidelines, understanding the documents that they need to collect, forwarding the documents to the borrowers to fill out, making sure that they filled them out properly, emailing it back to the lenders for approval, and then following their process. You can make this a simple, basic business, and it can earn you 4 to 5 figure checks if you're able to find the clients and find the deals. But make it a real email, not an at Gmail and, God forbid, an at AOL address. Okay. On the other end of the spectrum, you could have a CRM, a DocuSign, website, email, business phone number. The list can go on and on and on. I have half a dozen tools just so that I can be streamlined in what I do. But this is because I have the loan volume and I'm doing it for real full time. If you just want to do 1 or 2 deals a month, you can get away with it with just an email address and a calendar and using your personal cell phone. And this is the results that you can get from it. Okay. I showed this slide on the masterclass, checks like 2409, 2940, 2405. These are real numbers that you can earn all through the loan broker business. Now I'm going to stop the screen share for a second here and let's open it up for some questions. And let me know if I need to review anything that I went over. Was that good, huh? All right.
Hey, I had a question, Garrett.
Yeah.
Um, so how do you end up getting your clients? I mean, do you just kind of go out and do searches, or how do you pull in those borrowers?
Okay. So tomorrow I was going to go over more of the X's and O's, but
Oh, I got
as
you.
a high level, you need to be able to connect with people that are business owners or real estate investors. The reason being is that these are business purpose loans, right? So you're not looking for everyday John and Susie home buyer because they're not using these loans. So you can go to business chambers of commerce. You can go to real estate meetups. You can go door knocking on different businesses and see if they need funding to, buy a building or something like that, and you can work with them that way. But in general, if you wanted to just do this all virtually, you can go into Facebook groups like this. Let's see if I can pull one up right now. You go onto Facebook. There are a bunch of real estate groups that are for free on Facebook. And hold on, I'm just Here's one that I'm a moderator in. So when you're in here, people are going to post all sorts of stuff in these groups, like off-market multifamily deal in Elkins Park. Anyone that likes or comments here, these are real estate investors. Okay.
Okay.
So any one of these 38,000 people are interested in real estate in some capacity. Okay. So one quick way that I can find people that I'm looking to work with is if I go into these group and I hit the search button and I type in DSCR, then it'll show me posts that mention DSCR. Most of them are going to be from lenders that are spamming in there, but there may be somebody that's asking for a recommendation. Like, hey, does anyone know of a DSCR lender that they would recommend? Or anyone that's liked a post like this? These are real estate investors. These are potential people. Like, look, we are looking for Penn Hills properties. Send a DM of what you have. This is people that you can engage with, and they're real estate investors. You can send them a cold message on Facebook. I have a couple of scripts that you can do, and it's something that you may have to work hard at and overcome some objections. It's really hard to do it cold, especially over Facebook Messenger, but with enough tries, you'll have success. The best way to find clients is going to be in person and going to meetups. So those same groups that I showed you on Facebook, a lot of them are tied to in-person meetups. So you can use the search bar and type in events, or you might even be able to benefit from just posting in those groups and say, hey, are there any in-person meetups going on this week or this month? And then people are going to respond back and say, oh, I got one in this area. We got this one in this area. Make sure you get out to them. And then when you are at those events, make it your business to talk to everyone there, see who is doing what, and then grab a business card. You don't necessarily have to have your own business card to hand out at that point. You kind of just want to feel out who's doing what and then get their business card or their contact information and be in control of the conversation and call them up and say, hey, Harlan, we met at this event last week. I noticed you told me that you were looking at some deals. Wanted to know if you have your funding all lined up or if I could be a second option for you. Simple way to do it. Okay. Any other questions that you guys have? Or we can get back into it for a little bit and talk more. Right.
Gary, you suggest a personal email, not a Gmail, right?
I want you to use a real email, invest the couple of dollars to a couple dollars a month on Google Workspace. It's like $6 a month. You can get a domain name attached to an email, and then you can have your business name. Uh, so like mine's at GershamLoans.com, or you can use a software, a CRM that might be able to hook you up with a domain email. But definitely it's not as professional if you're using Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo.
Yeah.
People, we're talking the money business. People are gonna think you're scamming. And that's
Go
the opposite of what
go.
we're trying to do.
We get a an email from GoDaddy.
Yeah, that's going to be an Outlook email if you like working with Outlook.
Don't know much about that, but we'll work on it.
Okay. All right. So I alluded to this before, but the most important thing about being a loan broker uh, is that you do have to have the business owner mindset. So if you own one piece of the transaction, you own the whole thing. So being a student of the game is extremely important. So the partners that we're working with, whether it's the wholesalers or the real estate agents, the insurance agents, and the title companies, it's going to come with time. You're going to have to get your reps in unless you're working with somebody that knows how to play the game and you have a coach. Okay. You need to go at this where you're holding people accountable to their timelines, understand their guidelines and their turnaround times, and hold them accountable to that. So uh, we have a deal that we're closing tomorrow, and it's a fix and flip loan. And we got the lead in uh, about 10 days ago. And so, in order to close a loan that quickly, you have to understand which lender is going to be able to provide that quick of a turnaround time, understand their processes and pricing, and be able to work with the third-party partners in title and insurance that are movers and shakers and actually are about that business. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting on people and deals can die. And when deals die, you get the finger pointed at you because, like I said, I believe in us as loan brokers being the most important person in a part of each transaction because we're responsible for everybody getting paid. We're the ones working with the lender. The lenders have the money. So without the lender, no one's getting paid. We're all in agreement on that? Great. So there we go. As a loan broker, you're the one responsible for everyone getting paid. So who are our clients? Now, Harlan, we kind of jumped the gun on this, but who are our clients? Well, the lenders and the borrowers are our clients. I'm going to break this down for you, but the lenders got the money. There's a borrower around every corner. I just showed you a Facebook group with 38,000 people in it, okay, that are all interested in real estate. If we tried to contact each and every one of them, it would take a long time. But imagine how many people there are that are looking to do a real estate deal. There's a new investor born every day. All right. So we need to treat our lending partners, and when it comes right down to it, who do we need to treat like gold? It's the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rule. We got to treat him like such because without them, then we don't have a product to sell, and we don't have something that people need or people want. All right. So there are good lenders. There are okay lenders. There are lenders that you don't want to work with. My role here is to give you the people that I've worked with over and over and over again, actually closed with, have a systemized process, and you and I can be confident in giving these lenders to you because they do what they say they're going to do and they're pretty standardized. That's why I work with the super brokers. They sell their loans on Wall Street, which means that someone else is buying these loans. There are standards. If there are standards, then you can systemize who you're looking for and disqualify when they don't meet the box. All right. Any questions on that? All right, guys. So I went through that a little quickly here. Um, Let me see. The next portion that we have here is getting you guys all set up with the exclusive lender guide. I can put it in the chat if you guys didn't already grab it from the school group. Did you guys all grab the exclusive lender guide?
I don't have that guy.
Okay. Here, I'm gonna put the link is right here in the chat. It's a Google Doc.
got it.
Okay. So here's how to use the exclusive lender guide. Now, these lenders here, Kiavi, Easy Street Capital, and RCN Capital. They do both hard money and DSCR loans. What I've outlined here are the hard money loan terms, but the templates, which are linked in these shared drives, which you'll be able to get access to just by clicking on those template links. If you study these loan program matrix, this is for RCN Capital. This is exactly their bridge loans and then their long-term loans and their long-term rental loans. So we can go through these. The DSCR loans are here, the single family rentals. It's 30 years. The minimum loan amount is 55,000. Really, it's going to be 75,000 because you're not going to make it. You should increase the minimum loan amount so that it can make sense for you to do the deal and for your clients also to do the deal with you. So you can do minimum loan amounts of 100. That way you can at least make $1,000 if you were going to charge 1 point on it, 2,000 if you're going to charge 2 points. RCN Capital is one of those lenders where if you're in their TPO program, you can add a little bit more on the YSP. But they are a 0 point origination lender. So they're more of the wholesale or the warehouse line where you can, as long as you collect the documents for them, you submit it through their process, you can charge what you want by way of points. And you can also charge what you want by way of fees with them as well. As far as DSCR is concerned, they have the widest coverage throughout the United States. They're in 40, I believe, 40 states. So, and counting, that they may even be in more than 40. But they're based in Connecticut. When you go to rcncapital.com, then you can sign up for their broker program and go through the process and get assigned account executive. This is the application. So the application that this is where you're going to collect all of the data points. This is where you'll need to send this out to the borrower to fill out. And it's going to be up to you to provide them the experience of making this as easy as possible. There are plenty of borrowers that are sophisticated enough to download this, write it in, scan it back, and send it to you. There's other borrowers that are even more sophisticated will be able to create this as a fillable PDF and fill it out and send it over to you. Or you can use DocuSign. You can upload this as a template and then it's easy. And then but that costs a little bit of money. See how I'm saying where you can do this business on a shoestring budget with an email address and a calendar, or you can make it as easy for the client as possible. We're in the service and sales and marketing business on behalf of the lenders, but we're in the service-based business when it comes to our clients. The way that we're going to be able to earn referral business and that people will want to do business over and over again with us is by making it an easy process. And obviously being competitively priced, as well as just making it an enjoyable experience. Any questions about the loan application? I'm happy to run through this just so you guys can see what needs to be collected.
Could you?
Sure. Okay. So we definitely need the entity name because we're doing a business. Right here is the subject property address.
Gary, I'm
That is
sorry. Gary, I'm sorry. Before you get too far, is this going to be like a packet we can email to the client?
so
The
that's what
borrower?
I'm saying, Ed. You can make this as easy for the client as possible.
Mm-hmm.
You can email it over to them and then they can fill it out. Or
Okay.
like I have here through my DocuSign, I have templates. So for each one of the different types of, so for a DSCR, I have it filled out here. So they'll get this in the form of a DocuSign and along with the other documents that we need to collect. So I have this sheet as well where they'll fill out this information and then they'll be able to upload all of the requested and required documents right here through DocuSign.
Sounds
So
like the easiest way.
exactly. So if you want to shell out the $30 a month, I mean, it's worth it because, that's the cost of doing business. Where do I have that? Okay. So we want to collect, we're going to fill these forms out for them, or they're going to fill it out, but they have to identify the subject property. That means the property that they're intending to buy or refinance. They have to identify what type of property it is, whether it's a single family, a 2 to 4 unit, a commercial apartment building, mixed use. RCN doesn't do office, but this is a white label application that you can use for any commercial lender. And it's pretty standardized as far as what needs to be collected data point wise. They're going to identify whether they're looking to do a purchase and rehab, a refinance, a cash out refinance. They can identify how much of a loan amount that they want, but that's not the most important thing. What we're looking at is a purchase date. If it's going to be a purchase, we can have them fill out all this information. They may know some of it, they may not know some of it, but the most important stuff that we need as far as the application is concerned is their legal name, their date of birth, social security number, where they believe their credit score range is, contact information. If there's any additional guarantors or borrowers as part of the entity, they'll want to figure that, they'll want to put that in here as well. If they're not self-employed, then they will fill out their employer information. This is a standard loan application. We want to collect as much data as we possibly can. This is important as well. They're basically certifying that they are a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident alien, foreign national, whether or not they've committed a crime. They've had a bankruptcy or foreclosure. Remember, they're trying to borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars. We want to be able to disclose this stuff. Right in here is just, this is protection for the lender, protection for you, that they can go and do run a background check and a credit check. Then they put their signatures here. For the purposes of this application, it would be best for you to walk them through it and have them fill it out rather than just say, hey, fill this out, because otherwise you're going to be going back and forth and hey, this wasn't completed. Can you fill this out? Even so that may happen if you have it through DocuSign as well. I've been a part of that. The next piece is the deal tracker. So this is where they're going to show their experience. The experience matters for approvals of these loans because it shows that the borrower can handle the real estate financing. So they can put their primary residence on here. It doesn't carry as much weight as additional rental properties or investment properties. But this is where we're looking to see their experience. Relative experience would be anything on a rolling 36 months. So right now I'm talking to people and I'm saying, hey, how many properties have you flipped, bought, purchased, and sold, or bought, purchased, and refinance going back to February of 2022? And then they say 2, 3, 10, whatever it is. Then we'll want to verify that information. What the lender will do with this information is they will do a check on the title to make sure that the business entity that's applying for the loan was the business entity that was on title for that fix and flip project or that fix to rent project. If not, then we'll have to source an operating agreement from that entity and have a matching member between the entity that's applying for the loan and the entity that was on title. And
Gary, I
if,
have a question.
yeah, go for it.
Sorry. So is there two questions? Is there a minimum that you work with, or is that more on the lender that has how much experience they have? Do you set your own kind of criteria, or it's more on them,
So
the lender?
as you go along in the business, you can tailor your business to who you like to work with the most. I will tell you that as a loan broker, our business is more attractive to borrowers between deals 0 and 10. Now, for the DSCR side, that's not as a big a factor, but it is for the fix and flip. The reason being is that after a certain point, a fix and flipper, if they flip 10 properties, then hard money is a little bit too expensive for what they're doing. Not saying that they can't use it, not saying that they don't use it, but a fix and flipper who does it regularly, they're going to want to cut costs, and hard money is something that can be replaced with other tools for financing like private money, lines of credit, capital stacking, and things like that. But for the DSCR loans, which we're primarily on this boot camp for, the experience, you can be a newbie and get a DSCR loan for purchase or refinance. Uh, you do have to own your primary residence, unless in some cases you're doing the BRRRR process and you already own the real estate that you're looking to refinance. They may be a little bit more lenient, but in most cases, they want you to own your primary. Great question,
Okay.
though. Okay, so just making sure that I'm still sharing the screen. Okay. Now, what you'll notice in here for RCN Capital is the statement of work. This is for the fix and flip loans, but for a refinance, we will ask for the scope of work that they did complete so that we know how much was done to the property, especially if they're trying to refinance in a short amount of time, like under 6 months from when they bought it. We'll want to see that they've done something to improve the property in order to pull cash out. Also, if they have other costs into it so that we can finance them back some of their costs. All right, guys. So that is the bulk of the templates that will be needed for the clients to fill out that we have for at least for the DSCR loans. The next items that are going to need to be collected uh, are, we got that later in the presentation here. Okay, let's go back to
Hey,
the
Gary,
slide. Yeah,
we could hire an assistant to do all this work for us, right?
you can. You
Yeah,
can.
just give them.
I'd want you to do a couple of deals so that
Mhm.
you knew how the game went before bringing a team member on, unless
Okay.
you feel like you're very familiar with the process and are okay, delegating that. I have a processor on my own. I have a processor. Uh, your quality is going to vary whether you're getting that overseas or whether you're, finding a local person to work with or somebody that you know here in the States. But yes, you absolutely can get an assistant to help you out with this. They just have to understand what the lenders are looking for and being able to hold the lenders accountable to their timelines, the title company and the third party partners accountable to their timelines. Okay. So you have at least the RCN. We went over the RCN Capital uh, templates. I also included the Easy Street Capital templates and the Kiavi templates. You guys can message me or shoot me an email to if you want more information on those. But I outline them in the lender guide on who to work with for what scenarios, at least for hard money. Now, who's using a DSCR loan? It's real estate investors. It's business owners. Okay. I showed you one way because of Harlan's question, one way to find real estate investors. and mentioned that one of the great ways to find real estate investors and business owners is going to in-person and meetups. You also can create a client. You can create a client by talking about what you do. And so my elevator pitch right now, and I can, okay, I'm okay with giving you guys this if you want to use it for yourself. But my clients are business owners who buy real estate and they call me when they need money. So that kind of does a catch-all for, okay, well, I have a cleaning business and I want to buy a rental property, or I own an auto body shop and I want to buy a rental property. What types of properties qualify for a DSCR loan is all non-owner occupied properties. So any investment properties, single family 1 to 4s, multifamily, which would be apartment buildings, and commercial buildings. You got to close in a business, so an LLC, an LLP, or a corporation. There's no cap on the number of loans that you can carry for this, so it makes it extremely attractive for business owners that aren't showing all that much money to Uncle Sam. There's no personal income verification, so uh, it's not your personal tax returns that are qualifying for the loan. It's based off of the property's ability to pay its own debts. And one of the cool things about this loan is that while there could potentially be a hard inquiry on a person's credit, the DSCR loan doesn't report on their personal debt to income because it's a loan on a property that's closed in an LLC. Now, there is a personal guarantee on these loans, meaning that if there was a foreclosure or a default and the property was not in condition enough or couldn't be sold at the value of the note that's left on it, the value of the mortgage, then the borrower's personal assets could be gone after. But in our real estate environment, if they've been keeping up with the property and just haven't made the payments, had a shitty tenant, then make the payments, it should be okay. What is a DSCR loan? How do we pay it back? So remember that DSCR loans are long-term permanent financing. Now, this is stuff that we went over in the master class, but I want you guys to understand what you're looking to provide for people and be able to use the knowledge that you have now, understanding how the loan broker business works and what these tools are for, so that you can go out day one and start talking to people about DSCR loans and making an impact and creating a client base for yourself. So this is permanent financing. A lot of common questions that I get are, can I use a DSCR loan on a property that needs work? For the most part, no. We're looking for properties that are in rent-ready condition, already have a tenant in them, or are to be rented. So they can be vacant, but it's best if there is a lease that is pending to be filled. So uh, if you're buying a rental property from a landlord that just did a turnover and they want to get as much as they can out of it, that's fine. You can do that. Uh, the underwriting is going to be based off of the fair market rent, and that's going to go based off of the appraisal. How long do the amortization? So an amortization schedule is how long the payments are stretched over for. So 15 years, 20 years, 25, 30 years. For the most part, what we're doing as far as single family 1 to 4s, we're doing 30-year amortization. So that's 360 payments. All of these loans carry some sort of a prepayment penalty unless specified that the borrower doesn't want one, or they're in a state that has some funky rules about prepayment penalties and loan amounts. Like here in Pennsylvania, single families single families up to quads cannot have a prepayment penalty on the loan if the loan amount is under 300,000. It's just something that after 2008, Pennsylvania enacted. There's a couple other states that are like that. I don't know which ones they are off the top of my head, but I know that just being in Pennsylvania, that's one of the states. The ones that will know is when you're using the calculators, at least for RCN, and Kiavi, when you use their calculators, they will let you know that uh, there's no prepayment under a certain loan amount. Okay, we're going back over the letter salad because this is probably, it's the most important slide on the masterclass, but this is definitely the most important slide of the boot camp when it comes to talking about these loans. All right. So let's review the loan to value. The loan to value is what a property is worth right now when it comes to a DSCR loan. So what is the property worth right now? And how much money will a lender be able to lend to that amount right now? So if I said that a lender guideline is up to 80% of the 80% LTV, that means that they are willing to lend up to 80% of the purchase price or the as is value, whichever is less. And then we have to, since this is a DSCR loan, it's based on the cash flow. You have to put an asterisk as long as it cash flows. The loan to cost is the purchase price in the scenario that we're talking about for a DSCR loan, because the cost is the purchase. So the 80% will be 80% of the value or 80% of the cost, whichever is less, as long as it cash flows. The after repair value is important when we're doing a BRRRR because we started with a hard money loan. The borrower's looking to get it into a certain condition once they fix it up and rented it out. That after repair value is what the property is worth now that it's fixed up. The loan amount to the ARV, that's more for the fix and flip loans, but we still need to understand it when we're talking about consulting with somebody that is in the middle of a project and they're saying, hey, Melton, I want to refinance my fix and flip project. We're almost done. And you say, hey, what's the property going to be worth once it's all fixed up? Oh, it's going to be worth like 360,000. Okay, well, we can go up to 70% or 75% of that value once it's all fixed up. What do you think it'd be worth? How much did you buy it for? What was the rehab budget? You get into the conversation that way. The DSCR, that's what measures if the rental income covers the loan payments and fixed expenses. All right, so how much can somebody borrow? Well, for a DSCR loan, the DSCR lenders are not looking to be exposed any more than 75 to 80% of the property value regardless. So on the side of a purchase, the minimum down payment is going to be 20 to 25% down. If you do see a DSCR loan that's offered at like a 15%, most nearly there is some personal underwriting as a component to that, or they're providing personal tax returns or their personal assets are a part of it. But from the strictly commercial, private, super broker, securitized loan, 20 to 25%. What also is going to go into how much a person can borrow is going to be based off of the fair market rent and the lease amount. They're going to go based off of whichever's less. So the form is called a 1007 on the appraisal. The cost approach for the actual value of the property, that's the 1004. The 1007 measures the fair market rent, and the appraiser pulls those comps from the MLS or whatever inside data that they have for listed to rent properties. Next, the credit someone's credit. So, Harlan, when you were asking me about are we trying to tailor the experience for who we want to target? Not, it's for the DSCR loans, it's not the experience. We want to be working with high credit borrowers. So in all of your marketing or how you talk to people about these loans, and then you want to make sure that you ask two questions up front at all times. How's credit looking? And what's the cash situation? Before we get into interest rates, before we get into process, before we get in, after we've talked about, we can talk about the property a little bit, want to know the scenario, but when it's my turn to talk or ask the questions, I want to hit them right up front with what's credit look like and how's the cash? Because especially for a DSCR loan, they're going to want to source the cash, and your credit is going to influence the interest rate. The interest rate is going to impact your fixed expenses. The fixed expenses is going to impact your DSCR, and your DSCR is going to impact your loan to value, which means the only way that you can get to that 75 or 80% of what you've can potentially borrow towards the property, it's cascading. You need to have decent credit so that you can have the lower interest rate, so that it can have the lower fixed expenses, which can increase your DSCR. That being said, a 600 credit score can be approved, but your best terms are going to be 700 credit score or higher. Really 720. The cash reserves are important. When we're looking at the cash reserves, we're collecting bank statements, when we're in our review phase before we've submitted to the lender, because I'm going to stop the presentation right now because I gotta drop the major key. Major key. Okay, guys? Don't submit anything to the lender that you haven't thoroughly looked at. Just because the borrower sent you something doesn't mean that it's accurate or what you would want to send to the lender. Okay? If you're looking at the bank statements and they're showing that they have $4,500 in there or less than 5 grand, and they're trying to purchase something, that's an automatic, hey, we need to see more cash. Don't just send that over. All right. In addition to, we need to see more than just the down payment. So when someone says, how much cash do I need to bring? We say, well, it's automatically off the rip. It's going to be 20 to 25% down purchasing with a DSCR loan. And then we want to see another 6 to 9 months worth of fixed expenses. So unless you're refinancing, we want to see a good amount of cash when it comes to a DSCR loan. We talked about owning the primary. There is a workaround in the case of a refinance on a BRRRR, but for the most part, we want to see that they own their primary. All right. This we kind of talked about 2 slides ago. A lender doesn't want to be exposed any more than 80% of the property's actual value. So even when it comes to cash out, 70 to 80%. Here's the DSCR calculation. It's gross rent over fixed expenses. What goes into that fixed expenses is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. HOA fees, flood insurance, condo fees. Depends on the property, but for a standard single family that's in a neighborhood, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Let's see what that looks like with one of our lenders. Okay. For you real estate people out there, have you guys do you have a deal that you're looking at right now and want to plug some things in on one of our calculators? Okay. Okay, so I can And so this is the Kiavi calculator. So once you've signed up, by the way, when you go to Kiavi.com, how you sign up with them as a broker, I can you can use my link and I get a little bit of a referral fee when you go through, but if you don't, that's fine. But when you go down to the bottom, here, Control F, broker program. When you sign in, basically when you hit the sign in button and you haven't created an account already, then it'll ask you to sign in and create your account and you can select to be a broker. Here it is, programs partners. So you hit brokers, join now. It'll take you to the dashboard. Okay. So anyway, when we're doing a rental, they probably have the easiest calculator to work with. Um, one thing that I've done is set up a dummy entity so that I can create a preliminary term sheet in here. Makes it easy to grab these for a client. But I'm in Pennsylvania, so there's one that I created the other day, and I remember these numbers off the top of my head. So we're going to select the state, we'll type of property, the credit score. If this is for a purchase, they automatically think it's going to be a refinance, so we got to switch it to no. So it's going to be a purchase. If they're buying a rental property for 130,000, and their guidelines say that they will go up to 104,000 on there. And so what that means, can you guys see my calculator? Okay. So 0.8 is 104,000. So that's 80%. So purchase with 20% down, 104,000. Here is where we would put in our broker points. We can charge up to 3 points between the broker fee and the yield spread premium that Kiavi automatically throws our way. We can get this removed as far as the interest rate, but for now they have it included on here. So if I were to work with this borrower, they have a 700 credit score, they'd qualify for 20% down. We'd then put in their monthly rental income. So if this is at 1,800 bucks a month, it's 3 bedrooms. Standard is for insurance is going to be 100 bucks a month. So that's $1,200. Their taxes can be really depending on their area, but from what I recall about this property in Bethlehem, their taxes were $2,000. There wasn't any HOA fee. So after this, it comes up with the DSCR calculation of at least 1.2, which is qualifying for the best terms. So if we were to do a 30-year fixed, then they're at an 8.375%. Not the sexiest interest rate when we're talking about interest rates in general, but it's something where we we can sell this based off of the other things that Kiavi has going for it, which is Kiavi does not ask for bank statements to be provided unless something's funky on the credit. It's just some inside baseball. Also, their best terms are coming with a 740 credit and higher. So that 8.375 just dropped to a 7.375. This is why credit's very important, especially across the different lenders. Once we hit this choose button, then we're certifying those things that we collected on the application we sent to the borrower via DocuSign. And we're putting in the property address, and then we can download the term sheet. Okay. So that is on the Melton said, "Hey Gary, I have to jump off. Is there any way we can obtain a copy of this recording?" Oh, sorry. I didn't see that, Melton. Yeah, we'll have this in the school group locked for the folks that attended today. So I'll make sure that Milton gets that. Okay. So that is the bulk of the information that I wanted to cover on today's boot camp. We blocked off 1 to 3. We're just over an hour and 7 minutes into it. Is there anything that you guys wanted to go over today? Tomorrow we're going to go more over the top into marketing, and then I'm going to peel back some more of my tools so that you guys can have your system set up.
Sounds good, Gar. Sounds like a plan.
Awesome.
Hey, had one other quick question for you.
Sure.
So, do you see patterns of how people kind of get started? Do they often kind of take the same approach? Like just starting off slow, or is there a real rhythm to it from what you've seen?
So people that do this business,
Yes.
okay, success is attracted to speed. So if once you've digested this information, you can go through today, you can go through tomorrow, and then you can think about what we talked about, and you can look up more information online, and then a week can go by, and then, oh, that was cool. I wish I would have done something. All right, whatever. Next flashy, shiny object. Let me go on that webinar. Let's see what happens. That's the real life. What I'm hoping for at the end of by the end of tomorrow's boot camp, you know, you will have the option for yourself to invest in yourself and move forward and really take this business seriously and go out there and find investors and make those relationships with the lenders so that you understand how it works and really, start to make some traction, or you will have the option to do nothing and you'll you'll have taken the
What's that?
information and you know
What does
enjoyed
that? What does that pay, Gar? Doing nothing. How much you make? How much you make for doing that?
it makes.
You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
Yeah. Well, I had a question too, Gar. What about a website? Would it be easier to send people to, like, creating a website and send them to our website to
Okay.
sign up?
So
Or,
we do have another 50 minutes blocked off here, so if we got some questions, I'm happy to peel it back. It's just I don't want to stomp on what I had planned for tomorrow, if
Okay.
otherwise there might not be a whole lot that we go over. But
All right.
here's something that you guys can do with a free Google account. Okay, you can create your a Google form, okay, and ask the questions that are on the loan application by just creating this simple Google form and then getting the shareable link. And when you have somebody that is ready to uh when they're ready to talk about a loan for you, shorten it, copy it, and then you email it over. Or if you're sophisticated and can do this on your phone, you can send them the link through a text message. But what this will do is when someone fills this out, then it'll go on to the responses. This is where you'll be able to review the details of the deal in more of a vertical format. Now you can say, hey, you know what? These are okay. Uh, you know, Someone with a 500 credit score, I'm not going to really waste a whole lot of time on that. 600 credit score, okay, we'll give them a call. 630, all right. Now they can say whether or not they have, and then they'll say, all right, I'm looking for a fix and flip or a DSCR loan. You can fill out the information with regards to the purchase price and a rehab budget, things like that. And now you get a preview of who you're looking to talk to. Now, this helps when you're doing a lot of marketing. When you've just met somebody at a meetup, then you're going to have to go over the top and you're going to have to actually have the conversation, which is not going to hurt you because if it's your first, second, third, 10th, 20th deal, you're still green. You gotta put your time in and have that conversation. There are ways to shorten the distance to the goal. Um, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. But yeah. So that's one tool is having that Google form ready. As far as a website, uh, I don't know. It depends on how you meet somebody. Like you guys, I know Nate, I know Ed knows me from Facebook and we got mutual contacts, but Harlan, David, Nate, you guys found me through TikTok. So I'm not sure if you guys saw me on there and said, "Hey, I like this guy, like his vibe. I want to potentially work with him and go about it that way." Or you went to, or maybe you guys saw one of my ads for the master class and that's how you wanted to engage with me. Then you would have gone to my Facebook, but this is my website. It's not an incredibly ornate website, something that I paid somebody like I think $500 to create on Canva for me. I have a chatbot in here through Zapier because I'm paying for fancy stuff. But right here it's linked to my TikTok so that people can see some social proof of who I am. This doesn't look that great right now, so I'll talk to Andrew about that. Maybe it looks better when I do this. The point is that I don't know that people are going on to websites all that much anymore when you can look at your social media as your website, right? So my personal Facebook, when we're looking at just me, come on. Right here, I've changed my cover to show what I do. Most everything about what I post is going to be related to my business because I am owning, living the gimmick. Like this is me. Anything that I post is going to be about the lending side or real estate related because I'm living the gimmick. I'm connecting with over 4,900 people to see if that's how I grew my network, how I showed you before on Facebook, going to the different Facebook groups. I have a tool that I layer over top called Genius CRM, which allows me to go into different labels and send a broadcast message to them. But these are tools that you don't need to have unless you're trying to market this way. You have to figure out how you want to market. Do you want to be, over the top and do TikTok? Do you want to just run ads? If you just run ads and do static posts where it's a block post and say DSCR loans as low as 7%, 660 credit approved, you're gonna get people to fill it out, but just get in the mind of the person that's filling that out. They're shopping. They don't care about Ed Dowling. They don't care about David. They don't care about Nate. They don't care about Harlan. They care about, hey, you said this on your post, so give me that 7% rate. Yeah, I said as low as, not that if you have a 660 credit that you're gonna get the 7%. You have a 660, you're gonna get a 9% because you don't pay your bills. All right.
You have
So
to put in there qualified borrowers only, right? Something like that.
right, right.
Like the car dealers do, you know?
Now, the best phrases in marketing in this business is up to and as low as.
Yeah.
Up to and as low as. That's the two phrases that pay. So, all right. What else can we talk about as far as without stepping on tomorrow, because I wanted to go show you guys the Facebook and Genius tomorrow. We're gonna go tomorrow. We're gonna go over scripting on how to talk through the conversation, uh, leverage as to how to make sure that you are in the position to uh, you have to talk like a lender and think like a lender because, like I was saying before, we have two clients on every deal. The client that we want to make happy is the lender. There's always going to be a new borrower. There's a new real estate investor born every day. Just look at any Facebook group or see how many mentorship learn how to make money in real estate. I mean, I know that's what we're doing here, but this is what I'm saying is that there's a new real estate investor born every day. So we got to make sure that we talk as though we don't need the investor's deal. We want to qualify from the moment that we're talking. So we'll go into scripting and making sure that we're on the right side of the conversation for that tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll break down the RCN calculator in detail, and we'll be able to do a couple more live deal scenarios. I'll peel the curtain back on some closed deals, both with Kiavi and some things in my pipeline. I'll show some examples of the documents that we're looking for, more X's and O's type things. But for today, that was more or less of what I wanted to go over. If you guys have any remaining questions, then we'll leave it up to that.
No, hey, appreciate it.
All right, sweet. Do you guys think that you're getting value out of your investment of $97 so far?
Oh, for sure.
Awesome. Very good. All right, guys. Well, same time tomorrow. Um, like I said, like I just told Melton with his message, there will be a recording with this. We got to get you in the school group, and I'll lock it for everyone else except for you guys. That way you have access to it on what we went over today.
All right. Sounds good. We'll see you tomorrow.
All righty, guys. Take care.
All right. Bye now.
Bye.